So X-Men Dark Phoenix is out. We've seen it. X-Men movies have been going on for a long time. It's probably one of the longest running cinematic universes. Because of that, a lot of different directors and writers have taken over. And
yeah.
It seems like every movie has new plot holes.
Really, it does.
New plot holes, new things that don't quite line up. And I'll just say right now, like, I don't really care that much. Because it's kind of like the comics where new people can be brought on and do new interpretations.
Yeah.
Anyways, look at this. We've got a chessboard here in honor of X-Men.
Charles and Xavier.
Not really, it was just here. The timeline thing doesn't bother me too much, but it's kind of fun to like, jab at it. Just because it just shows
it's so easy
a complete lack of attention to detail from these producers. So this video is us attempting to fix every plot hole in the X-Men franchise that I've found. I looked up a list earlier. I don't think it's like quite everything, but if it was everything, it'd be a really long list.
Yeah.
First one, the main one, I'd say, is the characters' ages.
Oh god, yeah.
How would you explain this?
I don't
in a no prize kind of
in a no
way.
prize kind of way. Okay, characters' ages. Obviously, another timeline where the moon, the Earth takes a lot just longer to go around the sun.
Yeah, it's a stretching timeline, kind of like the comics.
Yeah.
Where everyone ages very slow.
Yeah, they age slowly and then all at once, kind of like Asian women.
They're all Asian. There you go.
They're all Asian. There. That's our no prize explanation.
Yeah. Dark Phoenix is 30 years after First Class.
Yeah.
And James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are not 30 years older.
They're definitely not.
Cool, we've solved that one. Everyone's Asian.
Yeah, everyone's Asian.
So, another one is Professor X is in Days of Future Past as himself, but he died in X-Men The Last Stand. He got blown up.
Okay, so he transferred his consciousness to his exact doppelganger.
Because there is an after credit scene.
Yeah,
there's an after credit scene, if you guys remember, where this dude wakes up in a hospital bed and the nurse is like, Charles? So it's like meant to be him inside someone else's body. But you don't see the body, so it's kind of like an obscured angle.
An obscured, yeah.
So I guess we could assume he just found
James
his exact...
McAvoy.
Yeah, he found James McAvoy.
Yeah.
And by the time Days of Future Past came out, he was old enough.
It's interesting that he chose another paraplegic person.
I know. It's like...
It's just like, wouldn't you want legs? Like...
Solve that one. Professor X has just found his exact doppelganger. Yeah. That's also paraplegic.
Yeah.
It would be weird if suddenly in Days of Future Past he was walking around.
Yeah.
Saying,
that'd be so good. Well, he was in Dark Phoenix.
Speaking of Professor X walking, in X-Men Origins Wolverine, Professor X has a cameo and he shows up and he's walking. But that takes place after X-Men First Class, where he gets paralyzed and he gets shot in the back. Because the explanation for this in-universe is that in Days of Future Past he had this serum that allows him to walk, but it gets rid of his powers. But you can't use that for this because he's using his powers and he's walking.
And he's walking.
The only thing I can say for this is like he was putting a projection in like their minds that he was there.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really do anything. He's just kind of standing. Let's just say that was a projection of the mind.
A mental projection that he was doing.
Sure. This is one people talk about a lot, but I don't find it to be much of an issue. Is in the first X-Men movie, Professor X, you know Cerebro?
Yes.
Yeah. Professor X says, I made this with Eric when we were back in college or something. But in First Class, when they meet Beast, Hank McCoy, he's like, here's Cerebro, this thing I built.
Okay, what?
So it's like, I'd like to think that is they were just taking credit for
Hank's
creation. Or they mean like they rebuilt it. Okay, so like Hank made that version and then Charles rebuilt his own.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think that still doesn't quite work because he said something like we met when we were in college or when we were kids.
Yeah.
But also old people, their stories get really inflated.
Yeah, they do. Old people, like, they forget and then they, like, you know, just try to patch up their stories like that. Yeah.
So explanation for that is dementia.
Dementia. There you go.
It's an interesting one. Peter Dinklage's character is in X-Men The Last Stand, but he's a black guy. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the same character, same name, but he's black.
Oh my god. Michael Jackson syndrome.
Could he be a relative? Because
relative? No, Michael
with the same
Jackson
name?
syndrome.
Reversed, though. He went from Peter Dinklage to a black guy.
Yeah. No, he tanned. No,
he tanned and grew. Maybe he put his brain into another guy.
Maybe. Oh yeah, because he grew too. Yeah.
He did get out. He put his
get out.
He put his
oh
brain
my
into.
god, he literally did a get out. Yeah.
Peter Dinklage did a get out.
That's so evil.
There's a lot of double ups of characters in different time periods. Like you'll have a Juggernaut in Deadpool 2, but you also have I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. I guess Deadpool 2 could be the post Days of Future Past timeline.
Yeah.
So like that's in the Dark Phoenix timeline.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
X-Men The Last Stand was in the previous one that's been since. Also, the Juggernaut in X-Men 3 was not Professor X's brother.
No,
so maybe it's just another guy that's the Juggernaut.
Yeah, kind of like how Blackie Drago and Adrian Toomes are both the Vulture.
Two Colossuses. I guess we can say the same thing.
Yeah.
One of them's Russian and one's not. Two Angels, same thing. That's how we're going to explain all the double ups. It's just one of them's from a different timeline.
And then the other one is from the old timeline.
Which timeline is Logan?
The Days of Future Past.
The one that got fixed.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's the one that got fixed.
It's only like a few years after Days of Future Past, though. Like it's 5 years later. It's meant to be.
Wow, everything went to shit really fast.
I think that's what was meant to be the idea, though.
Because like Professor X killed all the X-Men, and he's like, dementia, and it's in canon with our Fix-Us because you know he's starting to get dementia. You know he's not getting his stories right. He kills everyone.
Okay, so Cyclops is in X-Men Origins Wolverine in high school. Mm-hmm. But that's in the 70s. And he's also in high school in X-Men Apocalypse in the 80s. As a character around the same age. This is meant to be the same timeline in a sense.
Oh.
Because he would have already been born when Days of Future Past got changed.
Oh god.
Unless we can clump this into a stretching timeline thing where he's just in high school for 10 years.
No, I can explain it. He was really bad in school, so he had to
he got kept
back for 10 years.
There you go. When did Wolverine get his claws back? Before Days of Future Past, but after the Wolverine. Because in the Wolverine, Japanese guy builds a robot that sucks all the adamantium out of him and cuts his claws off. Oh, it doesn't suck the adamantium out of him. It just he cuts off his claws.
Yeah. And
then he just has his bone claws.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In Days of Future Past, he has his metal claws back.
Yeah.
When did he do that? Did he go back to the facility and give himself new claws?
He says, "Can I have those back, please?"
And I always thought the adamantium claws replaced his bone claws.
That's what I thought too.
But then it's no, he just has two sets of claws.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because that means he can choose what claws he's got two claws.
Yeah.
Weird.
And he has six claws at one time.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Why hasn't he ever done that?
Maybe they the bone claws are way back here and the metal claws are there.
That is biologically strange.
I don't know. He could have just had his bone claws in Days of Future Past because he travels back in time anyway for most of the movie. And he has his bone claws in the past. I think this is just a mistake, but we have to fix it somehow.
Yeah, we have to fix it somehow. Okay, this is the hardest one. Okay, hold on.
It's the most inconsequential one, but it's
it's the hardest one to fix because it's I don't know.
He would have just had to get them back somehow.
Yeah. He went back in time and killed himself and got the claws from his old self and then put them in his nose.
Do you reckon the actors ask these questions on set? They're like, wait, in the previous movie I had bone claws and now I have the metal claws again.
Yeah, it's how did I get them back? Don't worry
about it, Hugh.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Hugh. Just do your thing.
Okay, that one stumped us.
Yeah, that one. Wow, God, that's difficult.
Scott Summers and his brother are 20 years apart in age, but looks-wise they're not. Because his brother's in first class as the guy who shoots laser hula hoops, but that's in the 60s, and his brother, we only see him in the 80s as Scott Summers. So they'd be 20 years apart in age. But when we see them together, they look about the same age. He's probably only 5 years older.
One of them is Asian, the other is not.
Okay, his older brother is Asian.
Asian, yeah. He's Asian.
And Scott is just really dumb and got kept back.
He got kept back. Maybe because they're mutants, they don't age the same as other people.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, like, they're meant to be, like, a better kind of human, like a more evolved human.
Yeah, because none of them age properly.
No, none of them do.
Then suddenly they just age terribly between the 90s and 2000s.
Exactly, they suddenly become old men.
There's suddenly Michael Fassbender's Ian McKellen.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, wait, what happened in these 10 years?
Emma Frost is in X-Men First Class, and she's January Jones.
Yeah.
But she's also in X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is the late 70s, but she's a teenager.
Oh, that's right.
She Benjamin Buttoned.
She Benjamin Buttoned. She de-aged.
There you go.
That's it, yeah.
She Benjamin Buttoned. That's her power.
Yeah.
There's 2 Ryan Reynolds Deadpools.
Yeah.
Which is the most confusing, because at least with the other ones, they're different actors in different times.
Yeah.
But there's a 70s Ryan Reynolds Deadpool.
And then there's also Deadpool...
Yeah, current day.
Yeah, Deadpool 2 Deadpool.
That's what the sequel should have been called. Deadpool to Deadpool.
Deadpool to Deadpool.
Jungle to Jungle.
No,
this
the only
two
way...
Wade Wilsons.
Yeah, there's just 2... I reckon he just... There's one thing that's consistent over all of this, and it's Wade Wilson. Because Wade Wilson is inevitable.
So there's just 2 different Wade Wilsons at different times.
Yeah, I mean, it's Deadpool. I mean, I feel like you can do that.
Oh no, X-Men Origins Wolverine can be the old timeline.
Yeah.
And Deadpool
can be the fixed one.
Is the fixed one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Still Wade Wilson born at 2 different times.
Times in the history and...
But also in Deadpool 2, he time travels back to X-Men Origins Wolverine.
He does! He kills that Deadpool.
Well, we don't quite know how that time travel works. Like, maybe he went to an alternate timeline.
Yeah, he, like, split the timeline.
I don't have too many more on this list. There's probably so much more.
There is some.
Sabretooth and Logan are brothers.
Yeah.
But in X-Men, the first X-Men, they have no memory of each other or meeting. I guess that can just be, like, you know, over time they've drifted apart in a way.
And maybe, like, doesn't Logan lose some of his memory?
Yeah, Logan does, but I don't think
Sabretooth does. So Sabretooth should remember Logan. Yeah. Okay, well...
Unless he lost his memory as well.
Yeah, maybe he did as well. Maybe he got knocked on the head. Or maybe he, like, felt awkward. He's, like, got social anxiety. So when Logan was like, I don't know you, and he was like, oh yeah, I don't know you either. You're not my brother.
Also, I just remembered one that's bothered me ever since I saw the Wolverine. There's the prologue in World War II where he saves this Japanese guy. And then...
He's a weeaboo.
In the present day, he remembers that, even though he lost his memory in like the 70s.
Yeah. And World War II was definitely
before
so it's like, the 70s.
How did he remember this guy?
Just one guy that he's Japanese to do that, because he's a weeb.
All they had to do to fix this is have in the movie when I forget the character's name, that lady comes and he's like, oh, this old Japanese guy wants to thank you for what you did back in World War II. Yeah. He should just been like, I did what?
Yeah,
But instead he's like, oh, I remember him, yeah. He does get some of his memories back progressively, so maybe by that point he has remembered that.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go. That's a really lame explanation, but...
That's fine.
Maybe Professor X helped him, like, unlock his brain or something.
Yeah, he was like, did the reverse Jean Grey, instead of, like, blocking memories, he's like, have these memories.
He got the DLC.
James McAvoy, not James McAvoy, Professor X unlocked the DLC.
We could talk about a Dark Phoenix one to end it off. Dark Phoenix is meant to be in the Days of Future Past continuity where everything worked out fine and everyone survived. But... they kill off Jean, and they rename the school the Jean Grey School. And Professor X retires.
And Beast is the headmaster.
Yeah, and when Logan wakes up in present day, it's still the Xavier School. He sees Jean and Cyclops there together, and everyone's still alive, so it's like...
So what actually happened?
Unless somehow it all reverted... Off that point, they had another Phoenix Saga.
They had another one. That's what the next movie is going to be. They're going to do the Phoenix Saga again.
Oh no, hang on. Okay, I think I know how to explain this. It's time travel shenanigans, but when he woke up in the Days of Future Past, like, good future, I think that's still the same timeline he was already from.
Okay.
Yeah, he returned to his timeline that he was in before.
Yep.
But everything's like fine now.
Yep.
But the timeline of the Dark Phoenix is like a separate one, so like split off. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's time travel shenanigans. Does it have to make sense?
It does not. But neither does the X-Men Fox movies. Do you guys have other X-Men plot holes that we forgot? Let me know and I'll try and fix them in the comments. Watch these videos here or subscribe if you want. You don't have to. It's fine. Do what you want. Live your life and play chess. Can you see my feet in this? I hope, because I'm wearing
Thongs.
Who cares?